Hey Artie friends, how have we all been lately? Yeah, I know it's been another week since my last video. I am being very slack lately. I do have a couple of process videos filmed that I still have to do voiceovers on, so they will be out soon. So today I'm just doing a 9x12 scrapbooking layout. This one I went really mixed media. I went a bit overboard, I think, but I just love it. I love the way it finished and ended up looking, so I was really excited. So it all started from that piece of cardboard, that piece of cardboard, because I was ripping up boxes, and when I ripped that piece off one of the flaps on a box, I just went, wow, that's a really cool shape. I can use that in a layout. And then, yeah, it just sort of fell together from there. So yeah, this is a photo of my son on his 18th birthday. That was taken this year. And that was just a picture of him with the cake. A few days before that, we had his 18th birthday party. I haven't really scrapbooked any of those photos. So this photo was taken on his actual birthday, yeah, and the party was before his birthday. So yeah, that was just a cake that we just did with us, little family at home. So so what I'm doing is I'm applying gesso all over my 9x12 cardstock, and that is a Kaisercraft smooth white cardstock. That's pretty much my favourite cardstock at the moment. It's easy for me to get. I have a Kaisercraft store just down the road from me, so, and I can as soon as I run out, I can quickly run down there and pick it up. This stamp set is from my Close to My Heart consultant days. Yeah, a few years ago, I used to be a Close to My Heart consultant, and I have so many stamps. It's not funny. Most of the stamps have never been used before. I don't even know what I have, but my mission, I've decided, is to start going through some and pulling some out and playing with them and using them up. A lot of the stamps aren't my style, but I mean, I'm sure there's ways that I can use them. So as you can see, I just dabbed that little triangle sort of netting one just around, and it ended up with a really cool effect. So now I have pulled out this gesso. This is another gesso that I have, and it's a little bit thicker than the Liquitex gesso, but it's not really that thick. I need to get my hands on some heavy body gesso, which I haven't done yet. But as you can see, I'm just slapping it on and trying to build up a sort of a thickish layer down the edges of the page. And it kind of worked, and I was happy with it, but I would have been much better if I had had heavy body gesso. So now I have a piece of scrapbooking paper there, you saw it there, that I've pulled out from my stash under my scrap box from under my desk. And I wanted to use that paper. So what I'm doing here is I'm using my Winsor & Newton watercolours, and I'm mixing up a colour that is sort of as close as I can get to the paper, if you know what I mean. So I was playing around with it. It's not quite the same. It's probably a little bit brighter, but I mean, you know, it doesn't really matter. It still looks good. And I'm just sort of water brushing it. I have a lot of water on my brush, and just brushing over the heavier gesso, just so it sort of sinks into all the grooves and the little, you know, lines and stuff that I made with my palette knife, and then using water to spritz and spread it around a little bit more. And I really love that effect. It just ended up looking really awesome. So I'm just drying that off, and as you can see, I've done those little splatters, and I got this technique from DD. Carton, I think it is. I can't remember her last name. And what she does is when she splatters, she lets it dry for a minute, and then she dabs it up, and it just leaves that ring around the splatter. Can you see that up the top? And I just think that's so cool. And so I've just tried it on this one just for the first time. And I love it. I reckon it's a really, really cool effect. So you'll probably see me do that a few times. But yeah, so that's that effect. So that was from Dee Dee. And so thank you, Dee Dee. Not that you will be watching my channel, but it doesn't matter. And so now I've just gone and got my my Stablo black pencil. And for those who don't know, it's a pencil that writes on everything. It writes on plastic, metal, wood, and it writes on everything, and it's water soluble, and it's just awesome. I love it. I have about 4 or 5 of them, and some are like really short because I've nearly used them down to the stump, and yeah, so, and I just love them. And as you can see, I've just scribbled all over my page, and I've activated it with water, and it really leaves that really cool sort of grey tone effect after. And yeah, I love my pencil. So so that's that. So I'm just drying that off, and now we're gonna do the layering. I filmed this like nearly a week ago, so I kind of have forgotten what I've done. So this is new for me watching. So I'm just going to do my layering technique on my photo. So I've just cut out a piece of that blue paper, that scrapbooking paper. I don't know where it's come from. I can't remember. I've pulled it out of my scrap box, so I don't know. And that's a little bit of a paper bag that I had in my stash that I've used when I've purchased something. Bit of book text in there, and I think that was a brown paper bag as well. So I've used a white paper bag and a brown paper bag. Yep. And book text and that scrapbooking paper there, and I'm just layering all that up to, you know, how I like it, and just using my mini stapler to staple all of that together. And I really don't know what I do next. Oh, that's so bad. I can't believe I've forgotten what I've done. Oh yeah, well, as you can see, I'm punching using my Stampin' Up like tear notebook punch. I don't even know what you would call that punch, but I've had it for ages, so I don't think you can get it anymore unless you like looked on eBay or and tried to get one second hand. And my ATG gun, which I am still using. Sometimes it annoys me, and sometimes we are friends, so you know, we sort of have a funny friendship, but you know, we'll get there in the end, I think. So then I decided that that the cardboard needed something else underneath it, just to give it just a little bit more of a ground to the scrapbooking layout, so it all sort of worked together, if you know what I mean. So I'm just tearing some of the offcuts from that blue scrapbooking paper and some book paper, the elements that I've used in my layering, and yeah, just sort of teared them to sort of make a similar shape to what the cardboard is. And then I stick all of that down, and yeah, so I don't know what I do after this. So yeah, I just use my ATG gun, and I think I use glue to stick it to the actual scrapbooking layout because of the fact of all the paint layering that I have underneath. Yeah, I think I do. Yeah, I just use some glue. So that's pretty, I think, yeah, I'm pretty much, I don't even know what to say. I've got nothing else to say. So now, what do I do here? Oh, that's right. Sorry. I'm so sorry, people. It is like 7 o'clock in the morning here. The whole house is asleep, and it's school holidays here, and I've just been flat out, and I haven't had any time to myself to actually record this. So, and I'm only 1 coffee in, which normally I wait until I've had 2 coffees to do a voiceover. So I'm only 1 coffee in. I need to get my other coffee in me before maybe I do the next voiceover, but we'll see if I do that. So what I'm doing here is I'm using the gesso to paint over those wooden embellishments, the 18. That actually was an 8, it said 18th, but I cut off the TH because I just wanted to say 18. And I'm just sort of using the gesso to distress around my layering on the photo, and I've pulled out those wood veneer stars. They were out of my stash, and just, you know, dabbed a little bit of white paint on them as well. I know with the 18 I ended up doing some watercolour on there, and I hated it because I used the blue that I mixed up before that I did for the background, and because I didn't gesso over the whole 18, so some parts of the watercolour worked, but the others soaked straight into the wood veneer, and it just looked really horrible, and I didn't like it at all. So I ended up, as you can see now, I'm doing my Stabilo pencil on there to see if that changes it, and it doesn't really end up changing it, and I don't really like it, but I don't have another 18, so I have to sort of go with it. But later on I do swipe over it with some more gesso to sort of tone it back a little bit. And as you can see on the 18, you can see where the raw bits of the chipboard are, and I don't know, it just didn't look right. So, and I wasn't really happy with it, but it just had to work. So now I'm just sticking everything down, and I wanted that little tag to slot on the top of the photo cluster, so I've just sort of used it as a guide to where to add the tape, so I could stick it down. And see, the 18, it just didn't, it just didn't look good. So I stick down these 18, and then I decide that I want to actually add some of that muslin underneath it, and so I lift that up and just spread out that bit of muslin and put that underneath it, and that kind of makes me that little bit more happier, because it sort of makes that 18 stand out a little bit more, but it wasn't really standing out to how I wanted it to, because I really stuffed up the effect on top of it. I wasn't really happy with it, but in the end I am very, very happy with it. And now I just glue down those stars, and I use a little bit of that muslin as well to create a little pulley piece on top of that tag, that remember tag. And that remember tag, I've had that for a long time. So I've pulled that out of my stash. I don't even know where I got it from. I don't even know if it came in a kit. I don't know. But I have had it for a long time. So I'm just using the muslin, like I said, and just using my tiny attacher to staple that on. So it has like a little pulley tag to pull out the tag. And I write on that off camera. So I just sort of describe, you know, how I feel about my son turning 18, and it's sort of like a little letter to him, because yeah, I'm really, really proud of him. So yeah, this is where I swipe over the 18 with some gesso, and it does make it look that little bit better. So I'm really, really happy with that. And I just sort of swipe around the photo again a little bit, and just around the edges, sort of blend it all in. I don't even know what language that was then. What was that? Sort of, yeah. So it blends into the background, and now I get my grey lead, as I always do. I love my grey lead, and I do all my little swirly lines and squiggly lines all around the page. And I think that's pretty much it from me. So I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for sitting there and listening to me babble on about absolutely nothing. And if you liked this, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you all next time. So bye.